Hi, my name is Howard Cohen. Um, I'm the education co-chairman of the Art Alliance for Contemporary Glass. The AACG is a leading resource for glass collectors, artists, gallerists, museum personnel, educators, and others on all things related to glass art. It also provides a place for the glass community to have a robust conversation around glass art, its production techniques and trends, as well as providing exhibit grants and artist scholarships. At its core, our mission is to further the development and appreciation of art made from glass. For more information, please go to our website, AACG Glass, GLASS.org. Our program today with Latchezar is part of our Fired Up programs and airs free on the first Friday of each month. If you like today's talk and would like to access more programming available every other Friday exclusively for AACG members, please visit our website, aacgglass.org, to join. We have an exciting panel discussion coming up, which continues the discussion on the collecting challenge and the changing dynamics in the art market. Panel guests will include Doug and Katya Heller from Heller Gallery and Charles Shepard, the director of the Fort Wayne Museum of Art. Please look in the chat for a link to our website to join. We'll put it in very shortly so you can attend this and all other AACG programming. It's my great pleasure to introduce Latchezar Boyadjiev. Latchezar, I hope I didn't totally ruin your last name there. I apologize. He was born in 1959 in Sofia, Bulgaria, and was educated in the Academy of Arts in Sofia, and then the Academy of Applied Arts in Prague, Czechoslovakia, where he studied under the renowned professor Stanislav Lubinsky. He and his family emigrated before the Velvet Revolution to the United States in 1986, settling in Northern California. Latchezar's brilliant sculptural works are commissioned and collected extensively, both publicly and privately worldwide. Some examples of museums that you may know of are the Applied Arts in Prague, the Czech Republic, the Glass Museum in Abelof, Denmark, and then the Fort Wayne Museum of Art, and in the White House collection in Washington, D.C. So I would now like to let Latchezar take over the program, and he'll be talking about the highlights of his career and also giving a tour of his studio, and finally previewing some works in an upcoming exhibition. Thank you, Latchezar. If you just unmute yourself and please get started.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming to my little talk that I wanted to show, and I will start probably the easiest ways probably to start with my presentation with the video of my studio, so you can see where I am, and just to get the idea. It's around 10 minutes long, and then I will talk more about where I'm coming from. Anyway, enjoy it. Hi, I'm Latchezar Boyadjiev, and I'm going to show you around my studio. Today's a really hot day in Northern California, about 95 degrees, I would say. So just show you around to see where my workspace is. We enter here. You see actually one of my doors, the only one actually I've done ever. It's a cast piece that it's about 220 pounds, just the glass itself, encased into a metal fitting, and the door could be pretty much standard size. It could be installed in different places for the outdoors as well. So this is the little office and a little showroom that I have here with my largest piece ever that I have done. This piece is way above my height, as you can see, and it's 660 pounds heavy, and it's unbelievably difficult to do a single cast in this size. And it was done in Czech Republic, not in my studio in Czech Republic, and I'm really happy with it. And there are some other pieces that I have done, and you can see around it. I love it, particularly in this portion. I call it the dancer. It's a great piece. I love it. It's one of my favorites. And this is the other side is my little studio where I do in my drawings, my ideas, where all come in. I draw a lot of different drawings and sculpt here as well. And there's some new idea that I have. I'm going to show this piece and this one. And I have another one underneath. So also different type of work. Another one here. I do draw a lot. So when it comes to, I choose one of those 4 drawings. Let's say I chose this piece particularly that I will pursue and become a designer. So I have a lot of smaller drawings of my little pieces. There is also on this side the different colors of glass that I could choose. These are color samples that I could use. And this is one of the oldest pieces that I have, actually. It's 20 years old, maybe 21. And I like this. Anyway, so let's walk further out and see. We can go through the workshop where it's all done. I have all those grinding wheels, cutting wheels, gravers, pretty much all cold working needs that I have to finish the sculpture. Anyway, yeah, this is a work in progress. It's still not finished. It just it all has to be actually cut and ground by hand using pieces of glass with grit, some diamond, real tiny tools, and you have to pretty much go through all the lines. And it is a tedious work. It takes a long time to be able to make the line perfect because it comes out of the mold that it's cracked and fractured and not perfect at all. So it does take a while to get it to a point that it's really nice and beautiful. And this is another one of the horizontal pieces. I don't do many horizontal pieces, but decided to try this one. And it's very much related to the sea as a wave and play. That's why it's horizontal, because it is like the sea. And what I've tried to do is to create feeling of relaxation and serenity with this piece as well. So this is one of the pieces that it's not finished at all. It just came out of the kiln like that. So there's a lot of work to be done on it. One of the kilns, that's the large kiln in the back. It is about 88 inches wide. No, 88 inches wide, yeah, and about 36 inches deep. And there's another kiln. And let's move on here. There is another kiln, 4x4 feet. And that's my biggest helper here. It really does the hard work for me, a lot of times because pieces get heavy, easy to move around. And then we have this machine that it's great for grinding larger surfaces, grinding and polishing. So it uses these types of wheels that are diamond wheels that you can change, and it rotates, and it's manually with a hand. It's not fully automatic, but it is. You can show different grits of diamonds, from very rough to very fine, and at the end polishing. So the whole thing could be polished on that machine. Like that door, the back of that door that we started with, that was done all here. It's about, you can do 8x4 feet piece. So the whole surface to be ground and polished. Anyway, some sandblasters and a lot of equipment. Just those three pieces in the big one, and you can see they're still in the molds, and they're in the blue and a little bit of purplish, and this color is changing, very interesting. It's sometimes depends on the light, and sometimes purplish, sometimes even going to the green. It's two of those. Anyway, I guess I did a mistake by clicking, but anyway, so I will continue with the presentation. So pretty much you saw my studio and what I do, and now let's go to where I'm from. I'm from Bulgaria in Eastern Europe. It was a communist country where I was born, and this is me and my father with on a demonstration they always had on a 1st of May, big celebration, so-called, and we all march and stuff. So that is the first picture, and then pretty much around the same time I got interested in art. I really love to draw and to paint. So that's my first picture with some art supply store. And this is Bulgaria. Some parts of Bulgaria that I have shown. Bulgaria is a beautiful country. It has all the pretty much all geographic features that you could find from mountains, from the rivers, lakes, sea, and everything. And there's some of the old architecture. This is a monastery close to Sofia, where I'm from. This is another old town, Etara, where all the crafts was revived, and it's like a museum that all the craftspeople work, and there is wood carving, wood turning, leather shops, and it is a great place. Everything is run by water, by the way. It's right next to a river, so they kind of restore the old tradition. And this is the Black Sea.
in Bulgaria. It's beautiful. As you can see, some nice beaches. There's some beautiful lakes up in the mountains, Rila Mountain. So you get a picture of how beautiful the country is. But anyway, so that's my little background. And in 1985, I graduated from the Academy of Art with Applied Arts with Stanislav Libensky, and the professor was a great influence, of course, on me and my work and my future life. It changed my life forever. And unfortunately, at that time, it was still a communist regime, so I could not really stay in Czech Republic because I was Bulgarian and I was just married to my first wife was from Prague, and I couldn't stay there. The Bulgarians would not let me, so I had to go back to Bulgaria, and they took my passport and told me, sorry, but now you have to work in a factory for 3 years designing our stemware and things that I didn't have any plans to do that, of course. And because they were paying for the education, they say you have to work for 3 years in that factory, or you have to pay tremendous amount of money. And I couldn't do that. So I had to get a false document that my wife was pregnant at that time, so I will get an extension for my passport for 1 year. And that was the year that I had to escape because I couldn't go back to where I am from, and I couldn't be in Czech Republic either, even though we had an apartment with my wife, and it was great. So hard decision. I had to leave my country forever, my family, relatives, and everything that we were surviving. And of course, Professor Libensky was talking about America, how great it is, and everything. He was traveling here and always was talking about the American people, that they are so great, and that's why I decided to come to America. So we escaped. It's kind of long story. I'm not gonna say it, but probably another time. And escaped, went through a refugee camp in Italy, in Latina, south of Rome. Stayed there for 3 months and got okay from the American consulate, and we came here 1986 in September, and it was I came with a $65 in a pocket at that time, and didn't know any English, very few words, and very basic. But anyway, so we started little by little, and I got a first job, and the last job that I have was with Steve Maslach, a glass studio here in Marin County in California, where I am now. And I worked there for 3 years. Then I started my own studio in Oakland, California. And this is probably the first piece that I've ever made with some pieces of glass that I could find. And Steve allowed me to use the equipment after hours, actually, to do my cold working, because that was the only thing I could do at that time. So I started doing the cold working and some pieces of glass, and created my first sculptures that I wanted to take. And how I started was, and actually this is the first piece I ever sold. It's comprised of 2 pieces of optical crystal. And I went for the first time in a Glass Art Society conference in 1988 in Kent, Ohio. And that was a great experience for me. I didn't have money to go there, but I had a credit card, so I pretty much charged the conference fee, the rental car, the hotel, and everything, and hopefully to sell a piece or two. So I took this piece with me, and I took photos of it, and I was giving away photos to people around at the conference. And next day, a lady came back to me and said, "You gave me this picture. Do you, by any chance, have that piece with you?" And I said, "Yes, actually, it's in the back of my car in the trunk." He said, "Can we see it? We're collectors with my husband." That was, his name was Milton Baxt. And we went to the parking lot. I put the towel on the top of the car and put the piece there. And they said, "Okay, we like it. We want to buy it. How much is it?" And I said, "No, I haven't thought about that. Nobody asked me ever that question." So I figured out, the fee is $350 for the conference, and then a rental car and hotel. It was like $750, the total bill. And I said, I should make some money. So I said $950, and it was sold. So I was happy. They wrote me a check, and here's how I started. And at that conference, actually, I met a few galleries, Habitat Gallery, for first, and then Sandra Ainsley was there, and then I started working with the galleries. And this is some of my earlier work from 1988 to 1998. I was doing optical glass with some colors. It's all laminated together pieces, constructed using some parts of a cast glass. John Lewis was selling me some of his pieces. So I was able to combine with optics and filters and all different ideas. So that was part of my cold working and 10 years of life. And then the next period, which is still until today, I went to Czech Republic back because the Velvet Revolution happened in 1989, and 1996, I think, or 7, I went back to the Czech Republic for the first time, and connected with my fellow friends and colleagues, and went to visit studios and where the work, because I wanted to do cast pieces, but I couldn't do it here in the States. And I decided to really go into it, and that was the only way to start the casting, to go back there and connect with the people and start. And so I tried 3 different studios, and one of the studios I started working with, that I still work with today after, I don't know, 26 years or so. And these are my first cast pieces that I've done. So I've been having a collaboration with them for a very long time in Czech Republic. And even today, though I do a lot of my work, I do in my studio. And this is my first large piece pretty much that I've done. That was a while ago. And I was having exhibition in Sandra Ainsley Gallery in Toronto. And I was showing this. I didn't have money to cast a big piece like that in Czech Republic, but I showed this picture. I had a little lecture at the opening, and somebody from the public came to me and said, "You know what? I really like this piece. Will be able to do it in glass?" And I said, "Sure. If you commission me, I can make it. I would love to do it." So what happened? It was private commission for a person in Toronto, and I did two castings actually of that. One went to that private house in Toronto, and the other one was here with me for a long time until the Imagine Museum acquired that piece, and it's one of the major pieces that is there. So there we are, and different pieces from the long period of working with the Czechs. These are all pretty much done in the Czech Republic so far, what you can see. And this is one of the first pieces that I started working in my studio. It's called Freedom, and I did a little documentary actually. Well, it's not little, it's 1 hour. It's a long documentary. It's on my website. You could see it if you want. It's called, I forget what it's called, but it's a documentary. And this is the piece that it shows how it's all done from start to the end. And these are one of the first pieces that I have done, also a series of pieces, and this one as well. Also this piece. These are pretty large pieces. They're about 40 inches high, and it's another one of my favorite pieces called Dream. It's pretty, it's what about 36 inches, about 3 feet tall. And then I started doing a lot of torsos, different torsos in different sizes from 18 inches to 36 inches, different size. So these are some images of those pieces that I have done. These are some of the last torsos, the newer torsos that I had done. That was a difficult piece to make because actually I was sculpting it negatively. I was sculpting, instead of building up the body, I was carving it in. Actually, I was building up first a block of clay, and then I was carving it out to make it to really to be negative, imagining how it will look from the other side without seeing it. So that was a hard one. Yeah, that's yeah.
Can I ask you a question for a moment?
Yeah.
For some of the work you did that is figurative about figures,
Yeah.
Have you used models, or is it more you doing it?
No. What it is, during the study in Czechoslovakia, then with Libensky, what we did, we drew every day from 8 to 12, 4 hours a day for 5 years, every day. So we had a live model, and all of that training that actually helped us so much was, I don't need a model. I could pretty much from all sides, I could draw and decide how to, but that was the most difficult because it's negative, you know. When you work with clay, you add material, you know, you shape it, but you have to work inside, and then you have to imagine how it's going to look on the outside. So that was a really complicated thing. But I don't use models at all. It's all in my head.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, that's another large piece, and this is the first piece that I got commissioned to do for. It's in Boston, in oncology, I think. as you enter, you have it's called the healing garden. So the piece was mounted inside the garden, and it looked great right at the entrance. And I have a light shooting up through the piece, so it's very vibrant. And that's the only piece actually I have done in that it's totally three-dimensional. Only the flat side is the one that it sits on the bottom. So it was a kind of complicated issue, and it's very difficult to make it in glass as well. And I decided to do pretty much the same piece in stainless steel cast, this one, and then the bronze cast. So I tried to do this as well. And then another difficult situation was for me a little challenge I wanted to do was to create sculptures because I usually sculpt with clay and make molds the traditional way it's all done, but I decided to try to do it on a computer. So with a friend of mine who is familiar with this software, it was called Maya by Autodesk, and it's 3D modeling software that we use to create. So I did the modeling on that software, and it came out to be this piece at the end. So it was very interesting and very difficult actually to do that. And I did probably 6 or 7 of those pieces, and 2 are sold, and I'm keeping the rest here in my studio. I don't think I want to sell because I'm not going to make any more of this as well. Yeah, these are some of the how it looked in the rendering in a computer and how it looked in reality. That's another piece. And that's another. And this is the same piece, pretty much. So it was interesting experience. I don't think I will continue in that at all. And then here it's my lovely wife, Bertina. Next to the drawing, I decided to do some large panels because I had the idea to create something large here in the studio using my large kiln that could be part of the interiors of houses and stuff. So that was the idea, to make the door. And here's my assistant then at that time, Stephanie, and we were making a mold for that door actually. I sculpted it, and we're cleaning the mold, and I put it in the kiln with my big helper, the forklift. And there it is, the mold, the big mold in the kiln. So I use Czech glass, Banas glass at that time for this particular project. And this is when it's fired after a while. Then it's a lot of grinding and polishing. So there it is, polish the surface, and then finishing it up and putting it into a mold. Not a mold, but a door frame actually, the metal frame, and there you are, it's the door. And it was shipped to actually Sofa Chicago with showing with Habitat Galleries, and thanks God it was able to fit in the truck. It was just 1 inch on the bottom and 1 inch on the top. I didn't think of that, but that's how the display was done in Sofa Chicago. It was great idea, Ferd's idea, to have a little house because I had a door. So it was like a little house, and you enter, and that was my booth. You have the sculptures all around, and on a window there is another piece. So that was that was a great beginning, and I did not many of those panels. And these are some of the ideas that these are digital renderings of those panels that how could be incorporated in architecture, that I could, you know, have let's say 3 or 4 different pieces joined together in a different situation. It could be as a window. So those are just ideas, office and this and that, and so even in the doors, how could they look? So it's an idea that I had, but it did not work because I hadn't contacted and got involved with any architects, and it didn't go further. So yeah.
You're ready for me, I'll come. Well, I won't, you won't hear me.
Anyways, so then I, you know, did another large piece. I was commissioned by another actually hospital in Stony Brook in New York. They were opening a new wing for the hospital, and they wanted some large piece, and that's the piece that they got. It's called Hope. It was done in Czech Republic as well, and this is Tomáš Flanderka, one of the guys that I work in for 28 years. He's amazing cold worker. So there's the finished piece in Czech, and here is in my studio. That's how big it is, and now it's here in my showroom in the studio. So then I decided to do even larger pieces, and those 2 pieces were the models were really, really large, and that's how it looked in the studio before it was totally finished. Still had to be cold worked a little more. This one and that one, and unfortunately, this piece, they were both shipped into 2019, the last Sofa Chicago with Habitat Gallery, and they were both shipped there, and unfortunately this piece got broken during shipment. So that was hard, but this piece survived, and actually I went to exhibition with that piece in the Fort Wayne Museum of Art. I had a big exhibition, and there's the piece, and my wife, I had an and the museum acquired that piece from me. They wanted to have a really great entrance piece. And then we come to another rendering. It is this all digitally done with a friend of I'm not that great with computers, so it came from a gallery in Singapore. They contacted me and asked for cast pieces for a big hotel in Macau, and I say sure, I could do that. And that was the idea. They wanted to have a green because of their culture with the jade, and they wanted to have a round pieces, and it was a lot of limitation what I could do, what I could not do. So fortunately, I was able to. It took a while dealing with the design committee that they had. They're all interior designer, architects, engineers, and this and that. And everybody had to say something. So I did different ideas, different proposals, and it didn't work very well. And finally I said, you know, guys, why don't you design it yourself, and I'm gonna make it for you in glass, but I'm not gonna sign it. And then it all changed. They said, oh no, you're the artist, you should make it, you should do it. And I said, all right, I'll do it, but please don't let me be the artist and do what I want to do and what I can do. So it finally came to fruition as, but it was COVID time, and I couldn't go there because they had a lot of restrictions traveling to Macau. And these are actually Zoom meeting that you can see me up in the right corner overlooking the installation. I mean, it's crazy, the biggest installation that I ever had. And I had to watch it from the video screen. So we, it was done in Czech Republic as well. Chose the glass, and even the pieces that were installed, this big piece that it's right here, that people are working on, it was 250 kilos, which is about 500 pounds or so. And it had to be lifted up on a pedestal. The pedestals they designed, and it's a little too busy for my taste, but it is what it is. So we actually, this contraption, there are two different places with a hoist. So and you can see how it's lifting it up with a hoist, and finally driving and putting it together in the on the pedestal. So that's the smallest piece here, and that's how it looked at the end. It's right next to the the hotel just opened now, soft opening right now. It's not even open, grand opening. It hasn't happened yet. And this is just right next to the reception desk, would be just behind those pieces. And then the latest thing is I had an exhibition in, as you can see, in April in Continuum Gallery in Germany, and it was a great experience, very good opening. I had an opening with Alex Timmerman, the guy with the glasses, and he is a great photographer, amazing photographer, but he decided to do some work with a different, with a metal plates, like titanium metal plates, and so we had a combined work together, and it was great. Very nice experience. Traveled there with my wife and show some of my work. And actually, a lot of my older work was shown in that show, like this piece and that piece. These are some of the newer works. And this is an older piece that I have, and this one also. This is some of the newer. And then we went to visit Mr. Bremer's. We went to, because it's close by, and he treated us to a really good strawberry shortcake, and it was amazing. He went to buy it this morning, the same day we were coming. So we ate the whole thing, the three of us. And then, they all live so close to the gallery. And there is Michael Behrens with the family, and the newest member of the family came to visit the show. Then we went to visit Wilfred Gruden's there, close by also, half an hour or so. Had a great time. And this is some of the pieces. This is the oldest piece that you show in my video actually first. And I sent it to the exhibition, and it sold after 21 years, actually. It was 1999, so that is 24 years. And this is where we installed it, and it looked great in the place. So there is another two acquisitions made there, collectors that they install in their houses. This is here in the Bay Area. Friends of mine, they have a house, beautiful house, and they always loved my work, so they got this piece from me. And then at the end, this is my next exhibition coming at the Montague Gallery in San Francisco that I'm very excited. It's 20th of October starting, and there's some pieces that I have. So there's some wings that are actually two pieces separate of glass, and you can make your own composition. Actually, it could be worked out so great in a different angles. It's a fun piece. It's another horizontal small piece. This is a tall piece called Grace. Another torso. Movement. And this is the piece that it's almost done. It will have one more day or 2 more days of work, and it will be done next week. That's me cleaning it up after we took it out from the mold. This is another of the pieces that I will have there. And these are some of the last pieces I'm working on right now. And that's about it. I think I'm done with my presentation.
Thank you so much, Latchezar. That was inspiring, dynamic, exceptional. Does anyone, we've got lots of wow comments and other things in the chat. I don't see any questions yet, but does anyone, you've got some more time, have a question from Latchezar? Oh, and when does your exhibition start in San Francisco?
Well, it's exactly in 2 weeks, on the 20th of October. Yeah, and it will be until the end of November.
Great, great.
Latch, hi.
Hi.
You mentioned Marvin Lepofsky at one point when you told the story of you coming to the United States. When was that? Was that before you worked with Steve Masalak?
Yeah, that was before, actually. I met Marvin Lepofsky in 1983. He came to visit my professor in Prague, and he did some work there. And I even ground some of his pieces in the shop because I was down there in the cold working area. And he gave me his card, and he said, if you ever come to America, come to me, and gave me this card, and I knew I was going to come. So I really took him into that. And it was amazing. When I came here, I gave him a call, and he took us to a breakfast, to one of his favorite dim sum places, Chinese breakfast, and had a great time. And he actually, when I started my studio, he gave me 3 of his machines, and he said, you know what, I don't need those. That will help you start some grinding machine, 1 polisher, and 2 grinding machines, I think. So he really helped me a lot. We had a great relationship. Well, with some little hiccups here and there, which is normal for Marvin, but only good things have to say about him. Love that guy.
So Latchezar, we do have a couple questions. Willie Hay was saying that, it's clear that you're inspired by the female body. What other things are big sources of inspiration for you?
Well, the big source of inspiration, it's all around me. It's everyday life, the beauty that surrounds us everywhere. And there is a lot of course, negativities in the world that I don't want to pick up or convey in my artwork. So I want to continue the beauty and bring joy to people, to bring some aesthetics and beautiful. That's pretty much what I think the art should do. And whoever wants to have a peace of mind will look at it and have a very positive feeling always. And I think that's my main focus, to bring joy and positivity to this world.
Thank you. Another question from Suzanne Perrault. She's wondering, how do you decide when to cast work in the Czech Republic with the folks you work with there, as opposed to your studio? Is it about size, color? What are
the size, I would say, because now I'm very well set up in my studio, and I have my friend who is Nick. who is my assistant right now, and I haven't had an assistant that stick with me for a while. I always train somebody and they leave, and it was difficult situation. I was one-man show, and as you can imagine, doing from everything from the creating of the piece to making it, to casting it, to cold working, even packing, everything I had to do by myself. And it was kind of difficult. And I was very limited in a way of doing, be more creative, because I spent, actually cold working is the worst time consuming part of the work, because it's probably 80% of the work is cold working. And that took a lot of me. So I wanted to do more pieces, so that's why I had to give it first in the Czech Republic, that I could be more creative, have a little free time to create new pieces. And then it changed because I have an assistant now, and we can do a lot more work. And I'm very, very happy about that. And are more creative. So it's all great at the moment.
Great. Couple more questions. I'm going to sort of ask you two in one, if you don't mind. The first question is about, can your pieces be installed outside? And then a more complicated question, I think, from Ted Sawyer, that asks, essentially, he is saying there's a compound curving line that is a reoccurring motif in many of your works. Can you tell us more about that line? And then can your pieces be installed outside?
Well, with the pieces being stored outside, I wouldn't recommend it, especially for darker glass, that it's, let's say, dark blue color, because the sunlight will affect that a lot. It will heat up the glass too much when it's dark. And some parts of the glass are very thin and are lighter in color. And that will create a stress in the glass, with the glass that I work with. And I wouldn't recommend, if the glass is clear glass, there's no problem, or very pale blue or pale yellow or pale green, it could work actually outside and it's fine. But for deeper colors, I would not recommend. And for the second question about the curve, everything in nature is curved. There is no, unless you look at the flat sea, when it's flat without that. That's the only flat surface that I see in nature. Usually everything has different shapes, and it's part of me actually trying to get the glass to be more dynamic, to be softer, because the glass is crystal and it's kind of cold material. I always wanted to bring a little softness, a little beauty, and to be different, to make it soft, to make it appealing, to make it for you to feel comfortable around, to make it part of the environment and in the world, pretty much. So it's that's pretty much the reason. And I always wanted dynamic shapes to do. It's part of my designs that I do. So I hope I answered the question.
This kind of fits right in, I think, with that explanation. Margot is asking you, how do you decide on what color, the right color for some of your works?
Well, I have a vision. Whenever I have the sketches on my wall, and once I do the sketch, I see it in a color. It's just a vision that I have inside. So I decide to do the first cast in that color. But sometimes I do casting. Some are not one cast. Some are, let's say, 3 or 4 or 5 casting, maximum to 6, in a different color though. So there's never the same piece. They're all originals. And sometimes it's very different piece, picking a different color. It changes a lot.
Thank you. Many people are wishing you luck with your upcoming exhibition. I know that Danny Montague did put a link in the chat along with Habitat. And so I think what I'll do now is, Linda, if we could stop the recording, since it's just about an hour.
Yeah,
But if people want to stay on,